You have to speak the business language.
You have to create a system, the law of planification, like up and downs. Yeah. That's the life.
The mission then is to give.
Keep going.
Hi, Rick Roberry, Mr. Day One. I'm so excited today because I have the one and only, the legendary Maxime Pierre. Thank you today, Max, for doing this.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rick, for inviting me. It's a big pleasure, of course, to be here and to be part of your YouTube channel and everything. So, big pleasure for me.
Well, this is going to be wonderful. I mean, I'm so excited about hosting this interview today because you've done amazing things. I mean, Max, I think I met you like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
5 years ago. I was on stage at an event in France, and you got on stage, and it was like your first time in front of a big crowd there. I think it was 700 people or something like that. And you came down, you said, "How'd I do, Rick?" And that was the only English you knew.
Exactly. I was just unable just to say just one word at that time.
You were struggling, yeah. And on stage, what I said is, I said, if you want to have a good business in France, and of course Max is from France, I said, if you want to have a good business in France, then you speak French. But if you want to have an international global business, you have to speak the business language, and that's English. And he took it serious, and he does his presentations on stage now in English 5 years later. So I'm so excited. Max, are you 26 now? Is that your age? 26
yes.
years old now. That time has gone by so fast, and to watch you grow and develop, and guys, you just need to understand who this guy is. He came from a background that I want him to tell you about, to today a legend in the industry and one of the top income earners in the world in networking for his age group. So Max, let's hear a little bit about your story and kind of how you came about getting in the network marketing business.
So it's really simple. So I used to play football before. So I was in a professional club in France. So my dream was just to become a football player. It was like just the thing that I wanted to do and the person that I wanted to become. And everything was fine because at the age of 15, I think, yes, I went to a professional club. So everything was like a dream for me, you know, but of course, life sometimes isn't easy every single day. So at that age of 16, I had my first injury on the knee, and just 1 year after I had like a second injury, and just after I had like an infection. And it was like a complicated period for me because I was to the hospital for like 2 years. So I've stopped like school, I've stopped like everything. And the only goal that I had at that time is just to recover my health. So I say that it was like the worst time of my life, but at the same time, you know, that it was also the most beautiful time. Why? Because it was like the time that I just understood who I was, the power that I had just inside of me, and I knew at the time that I was able to do like amazing things in my life just if I took decision. So at that age of 18, unfortunately, I stopped like sport. I was at school. I was like really disappointed. I was like really sad. But I met network marketing, and when I met this amazing industry, so I was just 18 years old, so like a baby, really like a baby.
Wow.
And
that is a baby, yeah.
So someone showed me the business. I didn't understand like anything. Just I understood that it was possible to have like unlimited incomes, to have like an unlimited life, the fact to be able to live like everywhere in the world, to do everything that you can do. Just, of course, if you work, if you are consistent, if you have the discipline, if you are passionate. But the things, all that things for me was like natural because I lived that at those people.
Yeah, of course.
So it was like my meeting with network marketing at 18.
That's amazing. You know, I mean, I always say you always find out who the superstars are because they always do everything early. And that is your story at 18 years old. Now, when I met you, you were like 21 or 22 years old, I think. And you jumped into this thing and you just went like this. I mean, you're just a phenomenon in the company that you're in right now. You're right at the top, your top ranks, top incomes. You know, you join a lot of people in the world at your age group that are in network marketing doing well now, but you are above that. You're at the very top income level there. And you've made a lot of money, Max, and you have a lot of great investments, and you're able to live where you want to live. Talk to me about where you live, because every time I see you, you're in another country living there, okay? So kind of tell me your strategy behind that and kind of your history of where you've lived and why.
Yeah, so I used to live in France like for a long time, and then I wanted just to discover the world. because I created my first company. I think it was like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, something like that. But then I wanted just to know something else. So I wanted to travel, but I wanted also to be in a place that it was so close of my teams, because I think this is something important, because a lot of young networkers or young people want to have like the amazing lifestyle so quickly, and when they start to have just like a bit of success part in their life, they want like to live, for example, in Mexico, in places that are so far away of their teams. So it was something that was important for me, because I wanted to work really like with proximity with my teams. So I moved in Malta just around 2 years, just to see a different like way of living. So at that time there was also the lockdown in France. In Malta it wasn't, so I wanted also to
nice place to be then. Yeah,
it was cool. And then I realized that I wanted to have like a mix between my personal reasons of living and the business. So I analyzed a lot of different places, and now I live in Andorra. So just
you got to spell that for people, because they will have no idea what you're talking about.
it's just at the middle, not the middle, but it's between France and between Spain. It's like a principality, like Monaco.
And you can't live there. You have to have money to live there, and you have to pay to live there. Is that right?
Pay, yes.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine having to pay to live in a country? I mean, this is what the thing that's nice about that. The thing that's really fun for me, Max, is that you're able to just push a button and do what you want, because you have the money to do it. So you can live where you want. You have the time that you want. You can travel anytime you want. Be where your people are, and you have a global business now because of the English and then because of other things. And so I just want, as a personal note, I'm so proud of you, because I've been there from the first day, and I've seen you develop in a way that is just very few people ever get to that point. You're in the top 1/100th of 1% of the people in network marketing, and so congratulations for that.
Thank you so
You have some real strengths in your organization, Max, and one of those things that we look at, and you're known well for this, okay, is retention. You keep your teams, and in network marketing, retention is the business. If you don't have retention, it's just like in and out, in and out. You're just working all the time and staying just like this. But because you have the greatest retention, not only in the company you're in, but in the industry, I really thought that the subscribers and viewers here that watch this today want to know why. What's magic? What's the difference? How do you do this?
I think it was just like something that I've seen, that I've noticed, that I've analyzed in network marketing. There are some strengths, but at the same time, sometimes this industry has some like weaknesses. It was my point of view. Like the strengths is we have this capacity to create volume like massively, to create like outcomes crazy around the world. But sometimes you have like a big growth, but you don't have the system and the structure that are like equal to the growth. And this is something that I noticed in my first like 3 years in network marketing.
Wow.
So it was the first thing. And the second thing, I realized that in my business right now, and this is why also I love my company, and I love the way that we build this business, is we have like 94% of customers. So when you have that two numbers, you know that the majority of your teams are customers. So what do you have to put in place just to have them happy? You have to create a system, and you have to bring them what they want. And what they want is to have an education, to be able to learn, to be able to manage or to use their product or to use their services, and then to do like this extra work. So in my mind, it was like, okay, I want to create a system with my company, of course, in partnership, to have the best system possible, to just be able to maintain the growth, and to be able to push again the growth, and to bring to the customers what they want. So we've done like crazy work. I promise to you, crazy work, just to have like a best system, duplicable, simple, like that people have just to be plugged in the system, in the company, and then that's it. And after that, you just have to, as you said, if you want to have like a national business, speak your own language. But if you want to have like an international business, speak English and other languages. So what we've done is we have that system with the company at the international place. Like that, we can plug people, they can be happy, and then we just have to think to how to just create like a massive growth again.
Boy, I hope you guys go back and watch that like 5 or 10 times, because that was perfect. And you all want better retention if you're in networking, guys, because that's the most frustrating part of this business. You bring in your best guy or your best gal, and you're so excited, and they go build it really fast, and all of a sudden they leave, and you're like, what's going on here? What happened here? You know. And it happens in the business, but to have that kind of retention, Max, requires a lot less work to keep and maintain your volume, you know, at a certain level. So that's always the challenge in networking, is to find a way to keep people here. As a matter of fact, we measure as consultants in the business, you know, the average distributor stays for how long, and that's how you determine the retention of the company. In other words, average distributor stays 60 days, average distributor stays this long. But customers always stay longer than distributors. And so what the key here that you said, I think, is that 94% are customers. You see, that's the perfect business.
Exactly.
And totally in compliance. And the compliance thing is just amazing. So, you know, I love talking to you, Max. You're so smart. But one of the other things I want to talk to you about while I've got you here, and we're in Italy, by the way. We're in Italy. Ciao, Italia. And is that you are an amazing organizer. You organize and you monitor things and you adjust things, but you always have your, like we say in English, you have your thumb on the pulse, okay, of your business. You always know the heartbeat and what's going on. And so if you can give people right now, maybe what some of your secrets as about why you feel being organized the way you are is important, and what it's doing for your business to be organized in that way.
Okay, so I've noticed that a lot of big leaders, when I say big leaders, it's not just in entrepreneurship, but athletes in sports or other industries have something in common. And this thing is the law of planification. They are so good to planificate things. So if you are, for example, if you are looking at like athletes, they are making like a plan for the next like 2, 3, 4, 5 years to be ready for the competition.
Yeah, right.
If you are taking, for example, bodybuilding, you will prepare your body to be ready the day, like the day of the competition. So it's a long game plan. And for me, entrepreneurship is exactly the same thing.
Wow, that's good.
So in my mind, it was when I started at 18, I had my first game plan of 5 years. So my goal was just to be ready to have the life that I wanted to have, to become the person that I wanted to become, the leader that I wanted to be at the age of 23. So in my mind...
And you did that.
Yeah, I did, of course. No doubts.
That's an important point to make here, okay?
No, I had no doubts, because in my mind it was 23. So everything between this date was just something for helping me to become the person that I wanted to be.
Wow.
And at the age of 23, because now I'm 26, I did exactly the same thing 5 years after that. And I think when you have like a long tipping point, like a goal, a long-term goal, then you can planificate different like middle and short-term goal plan just to be able to accomplish that. But you have to be focused on the long term. You have to control your vision, vision, because if you do that, you control your actions. If you control your actions, you control your results.
That's true.
But results are the consequence of who you are and the way that you think. If it's the opposite, you just suffer. Because you suffer events, you suffer like your volume, because of course everyone has like up and downs. That's the life. That's not just business, that's the life.
It is.
But you have to control events. And for controlling events, you have to control the way that you will react when you have events.
Well, you're good at events. You have some most amazing events. I remember you had an event in Paris before COVID. There were 7,000 people in that room, max. Almost nobody in this industry ever does that, you know that. And you did that like 2-3 years into the business. It's amazing. This guy, you need to really pay attention to Maxime Pierre, because as amazing as he is right now and on top of his game as he is right now, he's just getting started. Barely is at 26, man, can we trade ages? I'm telling you, even if I'm not as good as you, I want to be 26 again, because I want to have a chance at what I see your future is going to be, and it's going to be bright, it's going to be exciting, and you're going to help tens of thousands of people around the world, Max, really have hope and opportunity and be able to help them achieve their dreams. Because we know that once we have enough for ourselves, okay, and we're strong, the goal from that, the mission then is to give. To give that to other people and bring them up. You know, I was in a convention a while back, and I was on stage, and they said, "Rick, why are you still doing this? Why don't you just live on the beaches of the world, do all that kind of stuff?" And I kind of smiled and said, "Well, you know, I've been on the beaches of the world all my life." So now my mission is to get you on the beaches of the world. And see, that transition happens once you get the money thing behind you. Then all of a sudden, the real reason why you're doing what you're doing really comes to your mind. And the type of things, Max, that you'll do in the world and the type of things that you do to help people, so many people, is totally who I am, and I know that's who you are, and it's exciting to be able to see that. But I'm excited about this interview today, and guys, this is the one that you got to watch, okay? And you gotta make sure you're listening to it over and over again, because you just got some really good mentoring today from this man, Maxime Pierre. Thank you, Max.
Thank you so much, Rick, again, and for everything, as always. And wish you everyone, of course, the best. To just keep going, believing in your dreams, work very hard, because we have to be honest. So it requires work, it requires like consistency, patience, but everyone can do it if we want that.
That's true, and congratulations on your English. I can't believe we just recorded a video in English with Max. This is just a dream for me, so thank you. Thank you for making my dreams come true, okay? Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you, goodbye.